How's it going? So I recorded a PPTQ that I played, and this is probably like a month ago. And I just haven't had time or been too lazy to get commentated on it and upload it. And here I am sitting alone after work. I had a few drinks and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. So here we go. I'll just open up the file here. And it's pretty bad. Like I didn't take a a photo of my deck list afterwards, and I could have recreated it, but I just can't be fucked. So we'll just play out the games, and I'll do my best to talk through the strategies here, even though I'm probably not in the best state to do it. And I don't know. Hopefully, it's entertaining, but seeing me fumble through the commentary rather than actually getting strategic insight. I managed to record the whole top eight, as that. By that I mean my quarterfinal, my semi-final, and the final. Quarterfinals, I'm versing my good mate Brennan Garcia. Brennan's a bit of a monster. He's like, I think he's been playing like 2 years now, and he's one of the better players in Melbourne. So much respect for Brenny. I love him. Very passionate. Probably I'm gonna say one of the most passionate players in Melbourne at the moment, which is fantastic. Always keen to hang out with him and talk strategy and jam some games. I'm like this jaded old school player relatively. So after work I'm just too tired and I don't moto, and anyway, I need to have all these blazing hot fires around me to get me motivated. Um, so obviously Brenny's on the right. He's sporting the Jerry's t-shirt. Hopefully I'll get one of those for the upcoming GP. Jerry's is just like an affectionate nickname for anyone from like the Sunbury area who plays competitive Magic. There's a good crew of guys down there. We all kind of play it next level games in Moody Ponds, particularly on Wednesdays. Wednesday Modern. Jammed that last night. It's good times. This is to timestamp it. Jason Mind Sculptor and Bloodblade Elf have just been unbanned in Modern yesterday, even. So that was a bombshell and completely unrelated to this video because it's a sealed Rivals of Ixalan PPTQ with draft top 8. And we've already gone through the draft portion. I tried to stay open and just pick the best cards, which goes against what you would do in straight Ixalan draft, where you kind of had to pick a tribe and go into it pretty early. Rivals, it may still be the case. I have no idea. I hadn't had much experience drafting it, but I stayed open and I opened a Profane Procession, and it's a flip card, so I had to reveal it to the rest of the draft. And I've taken it, and that was able to steer me towards black-white, and I managed to pick up 4 Legion Conquistadors, which is once you get 3, it becomes amazing, like almost a bomb. I'm gonna say, you just never run out of cards, and I got 4, so I was pretty lucky considering I didn't go hard for them. I think I passed my first one. I don't actually have much vampire synergy. I've got Legion's Lieutenant, the 2-drop Lord, and I've got a couple. I forgot what they're called. The 4-drop 3/3 that puts a 1/1 counter on another vampire, not itself. I believe I finished on top of the Swiss ahead of Brenny. I didn't finish on top of Swiss, just ahead of Bren. So I'm on the play here. Just the planes. I remember my deck has 3 Sky Lieutenants, the 2/3 for 3 flying vampire, 1 and double white. Brent leads off with the 2/1 can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. I should really learn all these names. There's one of my 3 flyers right there. Can't block the 2/1, but is going to do a good job of beating down. It's a great rate, like considering Windrake's been a solid limited playable, forever. 3 cost 2/2 flyer, and now we've got a 3-cost 2/3 flyer. Gives you that common as well. Okay, so it's been a while since I've commentated one of these and recorded. Ideally, I would have had a co-commentator, but I'm just not organised enough. Alright, that's a 3/3 pirate that if you control another pirate, you don't lose 2 life, but he hasn't got a pirate, so he does. Giving me the option to race here, or helping me race. Bren definitely has a better board at this stage. Okay, there's one of the vamp I was talking about, the Hill Giant, and I have got some synergy, unlike Bren. Before this game, Bren, he said, "Oh man, I'm disappointed that I'm on camera. I think I've drafted the worst deck I've ever drafted." He said he got train wrecked. Someone opened the Profane Journey, like the 3-cost aura, Golgari aura, and it's a flip card, so they got revealed, and Bren saw him take it in the second pack, which meant that he knew he was getting cut. Okay, that's pretty timely vanquish the week there from Bren. Now definitely has board position here. I'm happy to trade. That indicates to me that I have the Profane Procession in hand, if I'm willing to trade like that. Or perhaps not, we'll see. When you get down to these simple limited games, often it becomes identifying who's the aggressive player and who's not. I mean, in sealed, you both have bombs, so it's a little harder to tell, but in draft, the chance that you have a bomb each is much lower, and you can make a better assessment of who's the beatdown by what's on the board and what's in your hand. I'm not going to trade my 3/3 flyer for that 4/4, or like even risk it in combat, so I just attack in there. So here's the Conquistador. It's interesting with this guy, like, do you just max out and get as many as you can early on? Like, the downside is that you reveal how many you have, which gives your opponent more information. The upside is that you decrease the chance of drawing more of them, which would be a dead card compared to finding them all initially. And I think that downside, like drawing, you're drawing a dead card if you draw a copy that you chose to not find to hide information. And I think that risk is just too great. Like the information advantage they gain by you finding them all is negligible compared to that. So I think you just always find the maximum you can, unless it's kind of force you to discard to hand size. Yeah. Alright, so Bren with a huge board, or like a significantly larger board than me. I'm just going to have to block until I can stabilize, because I've got the Legion's Conquistadors, and he's got 1 card in hand. Like, I've got 6 cards in hand. I just want to block and stay alive, and then I'll just outcard advantage him. I mean, he's got those 2/1 Merfolk that can only be blocked by 3 power or more. So I'll have to deal with those somehow. My Conquistadors aren't going to get there. So I have to ask myself if I'm going to put my 3/3 flyer at risk of a combat trick. He's only got 1 card in hand. So I guess not. I'm planning on just blocking his team with all my vampires. What else can I tell you about my deck? So I got a couple removal spells. I know I have a moment of craving. I have a vanquish the weak. I can't remember if I have an impale. I don't think I do. I should really have a list for this video to have any worth whatsoever, but I don't. Alright, so Bran empties his hand to play Kakakadon, or whatever the fuck the thing's called. I can see Bran vibrating with laughter at how bad his deck is. Like that 2/5, oh man, it's like only good if you've got heaps of evasion and you can just sit behind it. Like a 2/5 blocker for 4 it's a good blocker, but just garbage on attack. And it's pretty hard to get good value out of that untap and rage trigger. So Bren's on 9. So if he had attacked with everything there, apart from the Kikakadon, because it hasn't got haste, he would have been at risk of what, 4, 6, 9. Yeah, I could have killed him on the swing back if I had a removal for the Kakadon, so that's why I held back the one blocker. I remember in the game feeling relieved that he didn't attack with a 4/4, but yeah, if I had a removal off the top, he was dead. So I like that attack. I mean, maybe he could have attacked with a 4/4 as well and left back like a 2 power creature, but then I'm fine with swinging back against it because I just trade, whereas the 4/4 gets I'll be chump attacking. Alright, I have ascended. In my hand I can see my last Conquistador and 2 other cards. I should really be able to tell all the cards from their pictures at this stage, but no such luck. Alright, they're all lined up. Lots of duplicates here. Bran needs... Man, what does he need? He needs to remove that 3/3 flyer, and then he's alright. That's what he wants. So he just wants a removal spell for that, and he's fine. I can't block those guys. Go down to 10. Looks like Bren's... His body language says that he's dead. So we'll see how we go. You can see the different land stacking styles there. I don't know. I've to get on a tangent from the actual game. Oh, I better commentate this. He's on 6. Yeah, it's lethal. So Bran basically went for the bluff, hoping I didn't alpha in there, so he has a trick. Then I get blown out. But I think my logic was that I don't die to an attack back from Bran if he has a trick, and my Mausoleum Harpy is just going to get larger if he does deal with all my little guys. I mean, what kills the Harpy there from green black? I suppose of another Vanquish the Weak. The Strictly Better Vanquish the Weak from Rivals of Ixalan that I can't remember the name of. Yeah, man, if you... Because I don't play Moto, I just don't have a good enough grasp of the format. I'm kind of relying on my fundamentals to get through these top 8 drafts. I should really practice the draft format before I play these sealed PPTQs, but I guess I'm lazy because Melbourne's my pool of players is small enough that you can get away with not practicing hard, and you can still win a PPTQ that way. I'm not making excuses. I'm admitting that my process isn't good enough if I want to get back on the Pro Tour, which is my ultimate goal, really. Like, any time that I'm not working, I would like to put towards getting on the PT. Yeah, it's currently for me it's the ultimate excitement. And with this PPTQ system, you only get like 4 chances a year, which is just not enough. I mean, you get the 2 GPs as well that Australasia gets, so effectively you get 6 tries. And unfortunately, I didn't win a PPTQ from the Teamer Energy standard format that was the last PPTQ season. Yeah, that's me to blame. But man, if you don't win a PPTQ, it's a huge gap between regionals. It's like, I don't know. It feels like 6 months. I'm rocking the indoor baseball cap. Got to shield myself from those incandescent rays. Alright, so I can see Vanquish of the Weak in front of my hand. I've got a few lands. And I'm on the draw this game, obviously. Bran lost. Alright. I can see Profane Procession in my hand. That's my bomb. That's like by far the strongest card in my deck. Oh, I guess they're not by far. Like Legion Conquistador is probably a close second. But 2/2s aren't going to get you through a 3/3. You need something special, which is my Profane. And with Profane in my hand, all I have to do is survive, right? That's all I have to do. And then Profane like kills 3 of his cards and gains me 3, which are his creatures that I killed. So it's like a 1 for 6, which is crazy. Obviously it's slow, but in limited you have that time, especially if you play defensively. I mean, you can't have a deck that's fully defensive because you need to be able to attack them in the games where you don't draw your bomb, the Profane Procession, and they have a slow start. Like, there's a chance they also have a pretty good late game. But if you draw Procession, you just have a better late game than them. Like, I can't think of a card that beats it, really. I mean, like, Tetsamok and the Immortal Sun are like probably the 2 next best cards, but Tetsamok sucks it to Profane, I'd say. And like the Immortal Sun's probably the only card that could beat Profane Procession. Alright, Brenny, man, that Deacon pumping up the Zealot. Some pretty good value right there. I'm about to get some value of my own. And I've just got to survive. Brennan's putting out a bit of pressure. I'm on 18, so I'm still on a high life total, but like, I mean, this turn he's bashing for 6, maybe 5 if he just attacks the Deacon, but I think he's going to pump the Zealot and bash at both. So I can just block the Zealot here. I've got a Moment in Craving in my hand, so I could block the Deacon and then end a combat, try and finish it off. Actually, no, I would play the Moment of Craving before damage so that my Conquistador lives. The risk is there if he has a combat trick or removal spell to kill my Conquistador, and then I get 2 for 1. So that's what's going down here. Worst case is he kills my 2/2 so I don't gain the life, and that's what happens. Like, I would have preferred him have a pump spell so that I still gain the 2 life, but so yeah, that I lost a lot of tempo right there. I knew that was a possibility when I made that play. Oh man, I'm not sure what my logic was. I guess like I figured if I traded with the 3/1 Zealot, then my Moment of Craving doesn't get, like, unless he plays an X2 post combat, then I've lost 2 mana. But maybe I should have just been focused on playing safe and getting to the late game with so my Procession can start getting there. I mean, Brenny right now, he's got 9 power in play. That's like 2 attacks to win the game. And I've only got like my crappy 2/2 blocker. I mean, if I untap and I can activate Procession, exiling the Deacon, and I can play another blocker, then I'm good, I would say. I mean, I'm going to take like maybe 6 this turn, go to 11. I'm still good. I'm looking good right here. So that's a Jungle Creeper in play. That was one of the reasons Bren is green-black. He talked about it with me afterwards. You can pay 5 mana to return it from your graveyard to your hand. That card is also, I'm not going to call it a bomb because you can still just play any 4 toughness creature and it deals with it. But if your opponent hasn't got a 4 toughness creature and you have enough removal to deal with any 4 toughness creatures they play, then Jungle Creeper will eventually win you the game. So that's quite a powerful effect. Alright, so I might still block with this Legion. Man, I don't even know what that leftmost card for Brain is. Oh, it's the 4/4 flying vampire. Man, I just have to chump block here on the Deacon. And I take. Oh no, so he wouldn't have pumped the 4/4 because I've got the Profane Procession. He would have pumped the Deacon. So I can chump the Deacon, exile the 4/4, and take 3 damage, go to 8. I think that's the play here. Apparently not. So this way I'm preserving 1 extra life. I think. No, I'm taking 1 extra damage. Oh, I just don't even chump with the Lieutenant. Okay, so. Alright, so I obviously have to exile the 4/4 this turn, otherwise I die. And then, oh yeah, I might as well do it now because, I mean, he can just, he's not gonna pump his 4/4 flyer because it's already lethal. So now I hope he has nothing, and I just chump block, and I take 2, go to 2. So I mean, if I could have chumped the Deacon last turn and exiled the 4/4, and that would have been 2 life higher. So maybe I made a. Not sure what my play was all about at last turn. I'm just checking how much its activated ability costs. So it's 5 mana to exile a dude, 3 black white, and then on the flip side you've got 2 black and a white and tap the land. So like 4 mana plus tapping the land, so effectively 5 mana to get one of the guys into play for you, and I think you can do it at any time. You don't have to do it in your turn, and the land also just taps for any color itself. So I believe I'm getting his guy back immediately so that I can use the flipped enchantment, use the mana of it to cast a blocker. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm casting the 3/3, not getting the 1/1 counter value just because this lets me block the 2/5 and survive, whereas the 2/2s in my hand will die to the Kikakadon. My 20-sided dice down the bottom for keeping life totals don't work when you get above 20 life, which happens to happen a lot in Rolls Ixalan. There's lots of vampire life gain floating around. Alright, Brenny's got, oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's 2/2 vampire for 2. If you gain life, you can play it from your graveyard, and it enters tapped. Yeah, and he's got 2 lands in hand. So, I mean, with a flip procession, this game's over. I'm on 2. I guess he could rip, like, Crash the Ramparts. Man, I don't know. The 3-cost Vampire Mind Rot that makes your opponent lose 2 life. He's playing that 2/5 dinosaur, so I wouldn't put it like that other card. The Mind Rot would be playable in his deck by the standard of cards he's got. It's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, he's got a bit of a vampire theme going on, much like myself. I mean, arguably he has more synergy than I do. Okay. Taking my time here. How should I win? I mean, I'm on 2 life, so there are lots of cards you could draw to just kill me, so you can understand my caution. Alright, let's pass. And from here on out, I just want to close the game as quickly as possible. Just to give him as little time to draw it out as I can. I mean, so that turn I could have brought back Deacon and pumped the 3/3 to a 5/3 and bashed in. But then if he untaps and draws an answer, I'd only have, yeah, the 2 blockers. So if he had untap and draw a removal spell, I would have died. So that line was risky, but you could also argue that if he draws a removal spell, I die anyway. So I think that's a Drover. That's the mana creature, the 2+1/1 that becomes a 3/3 if you control a dinosaur, which he does. He's got the Tabernacle on. So here I just pump the 4/4 and bash in for 6, put him to 14, and I've tapped my Procession. Well, now it's called Temple of something. So I got 5 mana open and 2 cards in hand. I think I've got to Vanquish the Weak in hand as a bit of contingency, and that can target any of his guys, especially in response to like Crash the Ramparts. I think Brent even let it drop that he had that card in his deck, and he said it in such a way that I believed him, even though it wasn't in his deck. He was just mind tricking me. And so yeah, it actually gained him a few percentage points here. A bit of misinformation, so good on him. Man, that Sky Marcher, put a bit of 1. Just 1 more Sky Marcher and I'm done. If he has it in his deck, or if he can chump block with these current 1 and then recover it. You could actually use the card Recover, that's in this set, so. Gets him with a 3/3. Okay, so I can trade with one of my 3/3s, or I can Vanquish the Weak, the Kakadon, to drop the Drover to a 1/1 and get a 2/1. But then I lose my safety against any like Crash the Ramparts that he may have, or like you could put Mark of the Vampire on a guy, you know, and I would want to respond. But if I get this 2/1 here, then I can attack more aggressively and give him less turns to draw the out. So, yeah. I think at this stage I made a judgment call that he didn't have a pump spell. Like, just based on his body language and such. Like, if I thought he had a pump spell, if I thought there was a chance he had it, then I wouldn't have made that play. Because if he just pumps his Kakadon in response, or even the Drover, then I can get blown out. Alright, the last of the Conquistadors. And I still have his Jungle Weaver underneath the temple. Interesting, even though this game's probably over, if the Jungle Weaver dies, goes to Brent's graveyard and he can bring it back. But I mean, it's 5 mana to bring back, 3 to cast. He's pretty far off doing that all in one shot. He's probably going to die before this all eventuates. I would have to attack with the Jungle Weaver and have him block it. Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, so I'm just playing a bit safe, make sure I have enough blockers. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm just making sure I have enough blockers to block all these guys plus 1 in case he draws a removal spell. And that's where I'm sitting right now. Three cards in hand for Bran. No pirate, loses 2 life, and that's it. I can just take with all my guys and he's dead. Yep. There's the handshake. That's just game 1 though. Shaking the hand after game 1. What a gentleman. Oh wait, this is game 2. Oh my god. That's an indicator of how out of it I am. It's been a long day of work and I'm bad. I think it's like 8 PM or something. It's getting dark. You may not even be able to see my face. I might just cancel the video of me commentating in the corner. Yeah, so that was that match. As you can see, Bren's deck, not much synergy going on, just a pile of cards. And not even any particularly good ones. Like, he's got a little bit of vampire synergy with the Deacons and the Zealots, and that 6-cost 4/4 flyer. I think it's like tap 3 vampires and you can bring back from the dead to your hand, which is solid. But I mean, in a format where you can just curve out from 1 to 4 and beat down with great tribal synergies, he wasn't exactly doing that. He had a few vampires and merfolk chucked in there. Yeah, he said he cobbled together the deck around a couple other green-black drafters. It's hard to tell, what he should or could have done without having seen the draft from behind over his shoulder. I mean, my draft wasn't that great either. Yeah, I think I took cards from all 5 colors, within my first 4 picks of each booster, except the last booster where I knew I was in white-black. Blue was, remarkably open during the whole draft. Alright, so this is my semi-final. I'm versing Josh. He, also known as Sparrow's Rum. He's a Twitch streamer from Australia, which is pretty cool. And kudos to him for finding the one residence in all of Melbourne that has a good enough internet connection to actually stream on Twitch. My apartment definitely does not. I'll have to probably upload this over 2 days to YouTube. I definitely can't stream live. I can't even watch 720p videos, for fuck's sake. Anyway. Yeah, so Josh plays. I played him in the Swiss. He was able to defeat me narrowly. He had, I think he triple repulsed me. The 3-cost Merfolk sorcery that you can play at instant speed if you got a Merfolk and you bounce a dude, draw a card. And just managed to beat down with his charging Monstrosaur. And I had some removal and like a Burning Sun's Avatar, but it just wasn't enough. He just got there. Anyway, but during that match, I picked on he's definitely. I haven't seen him around just because he plays online all the time and he plays quick and decisive, which I guess Moto and streaming in particular, makes you want to do. You want to be entertaining for your viewers. Slow play is not entertaining to watch, so apologies if that does creep into this video as we go along. And yeah, Josh does it well, so I understand why he does okay at streaming. I'm sure I'll see him in PPTQs to come. Yeah, Josh is sporting a black-red pirate aggro deck. So I think I'll out-card advantage him with my Legions Conquistadors as the game goes on, because the pirates are going to be pretty small. Most of them are going to trade with a Conquistador, so it's all a matter of if he can kill me before I overwhelm him with card advantage. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. Apart from me eating this apple, man, do I just skip ahead? Nah, looks like we're presenting here. This is the second PPTQ of the season. I believe the first one was at Games Lab on the Saturday. This is on the Sunday at the Tabernacle at Ascotvale. They have a 20% off everything sale tomorrow, but considering this takes 2 days to upload my shitty internet, that's irrelevant for you guys. You are not going to know. Jason Mind Sculptor, $150 Australian probably, 20% off. That's, oh man. $90? No, definitely not. This guy, this little kid singing, got the whole world in my hands, like as he rides around in circles on his bicycle in my courtyard. And it's quite distracting. All right, okay, so Josh is off to a pretty good start with the 2-drop Talani's Knight. The 2-drop 2/2 that becomes a 3/3 if you have a dinosaur when it attacks. I also have a 2/2. I'm definitely not going to trade with this guy if he attacks. I think, considering he pumps my whole team. Yeah, I mean he could also have like a Shore Strike or, man, what else is there? In 3 mountains, nothing comes to mind. Yep, bashing in. So, I mean, if he's got 3 mountains, I'm just going to assume he's color screwed here. He's got a 2-drop on the play, with an aggro deck. But still, no 3-drop. And also, he didn't kill my Legion's Lieutenant with, say, with a Bombard, which I would expect him to do considering like how strong Legion's Lieutenant is. I mean, I guess he could have taken a hit from the 2/2 and then held up the Bombard, but so whether he just ripped that swamp or whether it was in his hand is a question. I mean, if I was paying more attention, I would have noticed if he played it straight off the top, but bashes in. So this is a bit of a bluff here. He's bluffing that he has a pump. I mean, what could it be though, right? Like, I'll just block it. Okay, so I think Josh made the mistake here. That's a mutiny. So he had my 2/3 deal 2 damage to my 2/2, and my 2/3 still lives, because if he had done it the other way around, okay, so either way he did it, he still 2-for-1 himself. So that was a mistake on Josh's part, and he admitted to it. Man, does that menace vampire, does that pump the vampire that it gives menace for a turn? +1. Fuck, I should. If I don't know that, this video is worthless. Just turn it off right now. Anyway, but I was wondering like if he could have pumped one of my vampires and used it to make the mutiny better, but I don't know. Alright, Talani's Forerunner. Go find Tetsamok. That's quite the powerful combo. Yeah, so, but given he missed his 5th land drop here, he's still 2 lands away from playing Tetsamok, and one of those draw steps is Tetsamok itself. So Tetsamok is so far away. I mean, unless he goes land after the Tetsamok draw, then he could just be dead before it's relevant. And I'm going to be putting him under enough pressure that he may not even have the mana to spare to activate Tetsamok's reveal ability before casting him or her, whatever it is. Yeah. So he can't block the flyer. I've got a 3/3, so he can choose to double block the 3/3 with his 1/3 and his 2/2, but he gets blown out if I have a real spell. He chooses not to. I mean, maybe with Tetsamok on top there, you've got an inevitability. Maybe you just play as defensively as possible and go for the double block. Yeah. But Josh electing not to. I can't remember at the time whether I had the removal spell or not. Alright, so that's the Chaplain, the 3/2, 3/2 that gains 4 life when it enters. It's just a vampire, nothing else special. I think that's the worst card of my deck. I was pretty close to cutting that. Yeah, so I'm holding up 2 mana, so I guess I was representing Moment's Craving, but if I had it, I would have killed that 2/2 Menace, I believe. So I don't think I have it in hand. Interesting block. So you must have a trick here, like Skullduggery, or... Okay, here we go. I don't even know what that thing's called, but it's a ++1 and first strike to a non-pirate. If it is a pirate, it's double strike. Vanquish the weak for the blowout. Because yeah. Alright, so Josh is messed up here because he's only one of his pirates things is gonna pump before the Vanquish resolves, so it's still gonna be a 3/3 before the first +1 resolves. So yeah, unfortunate mistake by Josh. Perhaps I think he's strictly an online player up until now. So yeah, real life feels a bit different, and that's like part of the reason why I myself am not switching to playing online, because I think going from real life to online is going to be even harder than going from online to real life. I'm going to lose a bunch of matches to that kind of thing. Excuse me as I close my Venetian blinds. Alright, game one. Got a bit lucky to have Josh make a couple of misplays. Man, I can't get rid of this bar down here. That must be super annoying for you guys. Probably just gonna crop it. There we go, it goes. Oh, it's back. There we go. Eating my apple. So I haven't dropped a game yet. On a bit of a streak with my mediocre vampire deck. Man, what else can I tell you? Yeah, during the Swiss, my deck was excellent. I had just red, black, awesome cards. I had double Sadist, the Vampire Hawk wannabe, you know, the 2/2 flying lifelinker vampire. 3 mana if you reveal a vampire, 4 mana if you do not. And that card's a bomb. You just play it and attack. And it blanks. It blanks like 2 of their guys. And I had 2 recovers and 1 of the pirate raised deads. You know, you get 2 pirates back or 1 any creature for a single black sorcery. And I had Burning Sun's Avatar, and I had Talani's Forerunner to get the Burning Sun's Avatar, and like 4-cost 2/2 Needleback Enrage, deal 5 damage, which is an insane combo with the Forerunner. And yeah, just all good cards. And I managed to get top 8 comfortably. Okay, so the actual game. So I have a 1-drop. It's pretty amazing. No 2-drop though to follow it up. I do not like that crown crested guy. Like, you're almost always trading down mana wise, and a 1/2 body for 2 is just not where you want to be. Yeah, I mean, I would only play it if my opponent had a bunch of 1/1s. That's like the only time I would play that creature. Or if I really, really needed dinosaurs for some dinosaur synergy. Yeah, so I'm only finding 2 Conquistadors there, probably because I've got a 2nd/4th in my hand, or I do not want to discard to the maximum hand size rule, which is a totally dumb rule, by the way. I think they should abolish that rule. So Josh has played a Thrash of Raptors. It's a 3/3 for 4, or a 5/3 trampler if you control a dinosaur, which he does. So perhaps that is an explanation for Josh's inclusion of the Feather Crown Raptor here. Just to get enough dinosaurs. We also saw the Talani's Knight from him in game 1. So I've decided I'm going to beat down here. Land straight off the top from Josh, revealing a bit of information that he does not have the 5th land in hand. Well, unless he's not that I don't think it's relevant at this stage. So he could attack with both, and if I block the 1/2, then he'll be forced to pump, and making a 5 mana for 4 mana trade. But I would be taking 1 damage. I mean, I'm gonna block the trampler here, yeah, to force him to use the mana. I'm happy with that. And there's a chance that he hasn't got a follow-up dinosaur to pump up the Thrash of Raptors. Yeah, in which case I can block it safely. Alright, so I can see a Sky March in my hand alongside my Legion's Conquistadors. And 2 swamps. Oh, 2 Sky Marches. Yeah. So my hand's just all dudes. I got heaps of dudes. And that's Emissary, the Explore Emissary. So I'm going to make it a 3/2 first striker. So if Josh wants to get through, he's going to have to kill that 3/2 first striker. In the meantime, I can race with the rest of my creatures. I'm on 10. I mean, potentially he could like kill the 5/2 or have some trick to get over it, but I'm not going to die next turn. I'm just going to force him to have the trick. Josh was sitting on my right, I believe, in the draft. I mean, I left this video way too long. So he does have the trick. He's got the Mutiny to take out the 3/2. And he has the Dinosaur. So a 2-turn clock here. I definitely have my back on the ropes. At this stage, I'm going to have to switch to defensive mode. Especially with like all these cards in my hand. It's like 6 cards to 2 here. So I've got a 4/4. That blanks his 3/4, assuming he hasn't got another trick. And it trades with a Thrash, which I'm okay with. And I can still bash him with the Sky Dusk 1/1. I haven't played a land yet, so I can play my Swamp, which is my 6th land. I've got the Procession in my hand. That's another reason to be defensive. Just let that win me the game. Basically, if I just play the Procession and another blocker this turn, don't attack, and then I can just ride the Procession to victory from there on. As I just kill his best creature every turn. And hopefully draw more lands to play extra blockers in addition to removing his best creature. Interesting that I attack here. My logic must have been that... okay, so I'm not playing the Procession. I suppose... I guess I figured that the extra blocker is as good as a removal spell. Which is fair enough, considering I'll be blocking both his creatures. So he would have to have 2 removal spells in hand for the Procession to be... And I couldn't activate the Procession this turn either, so... Alright, I'm just treating my creatures as removal spells and still aiming for the late game. I mean, I could have kept the 1/1 back as an extra blocker, but yeah, considering the creature sizes he had, the extra power and toughness wouldn't have meant anything outside of a... Man, I can't even think of a trick. Maybe like... no. He's got... I know he has 2 of the Possum was 1 on first strike, and the 1/1 wouldn't have changed any of that math there. Alright. So survive. That's the plan. That 4 cost 3/4 is a great rate. I mean, it's so vanilla, and it is vanilla, but yeah, it's just a really well-sized creature. I think in this format, in sealed in particular, a 3/4 is just a great size. You don't want to be playing any X2s because of Legion of Conquistador, and there's a lot of 2 cost 2 ones. And there's also a lot of just like you don't play any X1s. It's like Vampire, like Zealot, Legion Zealot. There's like Jill Shot. Anyway. Okay, it says Chump Block there. Man, that card is so bad. I would never play that 0/4 wall. I think Josh must have been struggling for playables. After game 1, he would have identified that. Oh, I guess he might have thought that I was a little bit aggro, considering I had the Legion's Lieutenant. Yeah. But, man, considering his deck is so aggressive itself, it's a bit of a nombo to have that defensive card. I assume he must have just been short on playables. Alright, so my plan is I'm just going to exile the 3/4. There's no hexproof in black and red, so I can afford to just slow roll and play around any haste creature that you might have. Yeah. I mean, Josh needs a burn spell to the face here to win the game. Maybe like a repeating barrage. What else is there? I mean, not even a charging monstrous sword is going to get him there. Tetsamok. He's got 3, 6, 8 mana. He could kill 2 of my guys. And then, no. Alright, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely expect to meet Josh in the top 8 of a few of these PPTQs as the years go on. I believe he frequents the Greensboro store with Nathan Jones. Yeah, that community kind of sprouted out of nowhere, so good luck to those boys. Hopefully they have some success in the future. They're like the Neo Jerrys in a way. So from memory, there's a huge gap between this match and the final, time-wise, in real time anyway. Yeah, my matches were over relatively quickly, both 2-0s. And I don't even know what happened, just like the other matches grounded out, so I might skip ahead. I think I paused the recording at some stage, but just see what goes on here. Yeah, we're just staring at the... Alright, bit of action. So, my finals opponent is William Dahl. William's just been grinding for a while now. Let's just... so, after the match, I asked him to send him a list, and he did graciously, so here it is. This is what I should have for my deck, but I do not. Alright, so... yeah, quite aggressive. As you can see, this is a fantastic curve. Yeah, 2 1-drop creatures and a bunch of cheap tricks. Plenty of pirates to reduce the cost of this Daring Buccaneer. Double Direfleet Daredevil. That's pretty amazing. I have a Vanquish the Weak in my deck, a Moment's Craving. Like, I'm not going to cut those cards because he has Daredevil. I know he has one at this stage, like during leading up to the final because I overhear his opponents talking about it. I think I knew he had 2. If I knew he had 2, perhaps I would have cut all my instants and sorceries, but from memory I didn't have that many cards to replace them anyway. Definitely not of equal power level. And yeah, man, look at all those 2-drops there. Good aggressive curve. I do not like the Swaggering Corsair card. If you can't get the creature in there, you can't attack. They just have a 2/3 or something. But given he's got these 2 Trailblazers with Menace, they'll probably be able to attack on turn 3. It's reasonable that he's playing these 3 Corsairs. But the other 2-drops, like, they could easily be blanked by an X3, especially if you're on the draw. So there's potential for these Corsairs to be blank. And yeah, he's got a bit of a bomb in Trapjaw Tyrant, and he's got 2 Talani's Crowns to trigger it. Fanatical Firebrand and Dual Shot also trigger it quite nicely. But other than that, like, I guess he doesn't really have that many ways to get through a 4 toughness creature. Like, he has to 2-for-1 himself with the Crowns. He can't put the Crowns on the Daredevils because the Crowns will deal 1 damage to the Devil and kill it. It's a 2/1 first striker. So he's got Vampiric Zeal, Pious Interdiction as his only real ways to get through an X3. I mean, X4, I should say. So there's a weakness in his deck. Here's the rest of it. A bit of Fatty, Slaughter the Strong. Yeah, I think it's good in any white deck. I mean, even though he has lots of creatures, he knows if he has Slaughter the Strong in hand, he knows he has it. He can just play 2 guys, sit on them, let you build up a board advantage, and then he'll probably kill 2 of you guys with Slaughter the Strong, and then deploy the rest of his hand. Or at the very least, he can kill your 4/4, and then that's all he cares. Like, as long as he kills 1 big guy, he's happy. Right? He doesn't have to play out his whole hand before he casts Slaughter the Strong, or has to discard the hand size. Starport Sentry, a fine include. He's got heaps of permanents. Demystify, man, if that's main, that's pretty baller. That's a good answer to my Profane Procession. Or I might have a Luminous Bonds or a Pious Interdiction of my own for him to target. From memory, I do not. Pretty unusual that I don't have a Luminous Bonds in a Rivals of Ixalan draft, and I'm in white. And then a smaller sized Imperial Ceratops, a good sized creature, not so good in the aggro deck, but anyway. And then 9 + 7 is 16 lands, so a little bit low on. He's playing a low side of lands, but that's fine. Alright, let's get back to this game here. And yeah, so finally advertising Tabernacle Ascotvale via the playmat. So if any store owners are watching this, get yourself a couple of your store playmats, preferably a double-sized one that can face the camera, and I don't know, just a nice thing to have. Yeah, just for this moments like these, if you're recording your own tournament or something, you can get a little, just looks nicer, right? So William Dahl's been grinding away for a while. Hasn't taken down a PPTQ. Oh, he might have taken down 1. I'm not sure. Sorry, Will. But he'll get there eventually. He's definitely got the passion. I've seen him travel quite far to play. So, looking at Will's deck and comparing it to mine, I haven't got many 2-drops, and those Daredevils are a nightmare for me. Like, I have to race them with my 2/3 flyers, or block them with my 2/3 flyers, but then the rest of my team can't get through the 2/1 first striker, so I kind of have to have the 2/3 flyer to block, and then or remove the Daredevil. So I guess William, he must have a hand such that he wanted to be aggressive and not wait for me to play a potential instant or sorcery. I mean, given, like I was saying, my games were over quite quick, so we never had a chance to scout my matches and see how many instants or sorceries I had. For all he knew, I only had like 2. I mean, which I did. And given that he didn't know how many instant sorceries I had, he was happy to play out that Daredevil quite early. I mean, 2 on my first strike with 2 is still a decent rate. Well, it's a great rate, actually. Alright. So, I'm going to head on board periodically. There's Trapdoor Tyrant, so I'm going to have some removal here. Otherwise, that 5/5 is just too big. Like, and I'm still a fair way off ascending with my charging horse, whatever it's called, to trade with a Trapdoor Tyrant. And even still, he could just, draw one of his damage spells to get the enrage trigger to deal with the horse and still attack in. Some racing here. I've got the life gain from the Moment's Craving, which is coming in handy. I might just be able to fly over the top and jump everything but the Trapjaw and race him that way. Currently it's like 5 power from the Trapjaw to my 4 power of flying. Alright. Yeah, having not gotten there in the last last season of PPTQs, I was pretty keen to get there this time. But I've also been denied enough that it's not going to break me if I don't make it. So I think I was pretty calm and collected on this day. I'd had a pretty big one the night before because Joseph Scalzero from Adelaide was down in Victoria, unfortunately, for looking after his family, but also managed to find the time to come play a couple of PPTQs, which is great. Caught up with him, and he crashed at my place along with Bren, who you saw in the quarterfinals. So we stayed up a bit late and just shot the shit and had a few drinks. So I was pretty sore today. That is the day of the tournament. Alright, triple Sky March. Yeah, 6 power in the air. So, and Will's on 9. So I've got him on a 2-turn clock. I just have to survive, basically. I could just block this Buccaneer. Take 7 from his attack, go to 10. And then, I mean, obviously a lot can go on between now and then, but it's looking pretty good for me. Only 9 permanents at this stage, so I haven't ascended. Surely I blocked the Buccaneer. Yeah. Does Will have the trick? I'm not sure if Talani's Summoner... actually, I am sure. Talani's Horns can definitely target an opponent's creature. So, but that's not the case here. We'll just... Sheltering Light to keep his Buccaneer alive. Not the greatest value. I'm pretty happy to see that happen. Will was probably hoping I didn't block there, but I mean, surely he would expect me to. Alright, decent board from Will, but a chump block from me is still going to keep me alive, so Will's going to need one other trick to stop me from killing him in the air. At this stage I just attack the 6 in the air, put him to 3, and block the 5/5 with my horse, and I still have even if he exiles one of my 2/3 flyers, I still have 4 power in the air to kill him, and he has, and without the trapjaw damage, that is 7 damage, putting me at 3. So on board, mathematically I've got it, with disregarding any future plays. There's an emissary. So I have Vanquish the Weak and double Legion's Conquistador in hand, but only 2 mana, so I can't cast either of those. So this is just some straight up math from here on out. I have now ascended. That horse is a 5/5 currently, so Will has to block that 5/5 with the Buccaneer, or the Corsair I should say, to stay alive. And then my choice is to attack with 3 of the 2/3s or just 2 of them. If I bash with everything and Will has a removal spell, I still live. So okay, I'm fine with attacking with everything here. Yeah. So Will chumping. Will's going to need a... No, like... He'd have to trigger the Enrage of the Trapjaw, plus get extra damage in. That's it. Yeah, so I want a bit of a tear. I feel like all the decks we've seen so far, including mine, are just like, yeah, they're okay, and not awesome. You wouldn't see a screenshot of them and go, whoa, yeah, that's a 3/0 deck. A bit of air. Probably just going to skip through this sideboarding procedure. Man. So I think games 2 and 3, I choose to board out my Mausoleum Harpy. I guess I assume that because he's red white, he's very aggro. I mean, we saw his the snapshots of his deck, and he actually is quite aggro. And I figured like a 3/3 for 5 isn't the best blocker. But given he has those daredevils, it would have been, in hindsight, would have been better to keep that 3/3 flyer in just as a win condition to fly over his team, whilst I chump block with Conquistadors to get there. So it looks like I'm trimming a swamp and adding a what's it called? Like the 3-cost sorcery that makes 2/1/1 vampire lifelinks. I don't know, Vona's summons or something like that. I believe I had 2 of those in my sideboard. I didn't main deck any of them. They're very nice with a Legion's Lieutenant, but otherwise, and I haven't got any Deacons despite being a vampire deck. So I was pretty jealous of Bren's Deacon from the first match we saw. I would have really liked those Deacons, and that may have got the summons in my deck, but without it, they're just 1/1s, you know what I mean? Like any 1/2 or 2/2 just blanks them. Yeah, that card is another reason why I don't like X1s in this format. Like Raptor Companion, it's fooled me so many times. I keep playing it in these sealed pools, like from the pre-release and from the PPTQ before this one we're viewing now. And it's just so bad. Just don't play Raptor's Companion if you play another sealed PPTQ of this format. Anyway, I bring in one of those summons cards because I assume Will is very aggro. Yeah. And I take out the Harpy because it's a bad blocker, but so Will's on the play. got Legions Conquistador in hand. Not enough land. Mulligan. Because like the seasons when I have won PPTQs, it's typically in sealed, not early on. I don't know, which makes me wonder. Like, I think my deck selection for standard is where I'm lacking. Yeah. Or if I just pick like a deck early and I just haven't got the passion to get better at it because I don't have pride in it. So it's kind of like I have to win one of the sealed PPTQs that are earlier in the format or nothing, and then I just can't get there in standard. Alright, I can see an Evolving Wilds in my hand. I'm playing that despite only being 2 colors. I haven't got many 1 or 2 drops apart from the 1/1 flyer and the Legion's Lieutenant and the Moment's Craving. So I'm happy to play the effectively enters tapped land for a bit of mana fixing because I don't think it's going to interrupt my early turns. I mean, obviously I can draw it on turn 3 when I'm needing my 3rd land drop and it can screw me, but I'm taking that risk. Alright, so we got a Bishop, 2/2 life, linker for 2, not so good against a Daredevil, which will also runs out on turn 2 with no target. And he hasn't seen an instant or sorcery from me except for Moment's Craving at this point. I mean, I guess he just wanted to run it out there so he could trigger his Corsair, which is, yeah, totally good. Alright, I'm attacking in. That indicates to Will that I definitely have a trick. I mean, maybe I don't, maybe I'm bluffing. I think I can see a Moment's Craving in my hand, though. And there's the card closest to my left hand. So it was not a bluff. Would have been pretty sweet if it was, though. Okay, interesting. I choose to kill the Daredevil now. And no land drop from me. Oh no, I do. I've got the Evolving Wilds. Okay. I don't know if I like that. Like the 2/2 lifelink, you can just go all the way. And I just want to be able to attack with it every turn and have it live. I suppose the 2/1 first striker and the 3/3 both block the 2/2 by itself. So I'm going to have to use the Moment's Craving on either of them eventually. They can both single block the Bishop, so I might as well do it now if I haven't got any other play, so that's fine. So the 4-cost 2/2 dinosaur that deals 5 damage on Enrage trigger, which I mentioned that I had like a Needleback, I don't know what it's called, Needleback Lizard or something. I mentioned I had that in my sealed pool. That's the card that Will has played just now. I have a Vanquish in the Week in my hand, so I should probably kill that 2/2 right now before Will can get any Enrage triggers going on. I could attack here naked with the Bishop and be happy with Will to block because he gets no value from the Enrage trigger, and Will does not block, unsurprisingly. Now, from memory, I don't Vanquish the 2/2, which is a mistake. I mean, the logic was that I have no intention of trading with the 2/2 until my next turn, and therefore I get more damage in this way by playing out the extra creature. However, it also gives Will a turn to attack with his 2/2, so he breaks even on damage. I mean, he may not bash with it because I can block with the 2/3, But because I made this play this way, as you can see right in front of us, I've given him the opportunity to trigger Enrage on it and kill my guy. And now, ironically, it's a 5-2, which is bigger than my Vanquish the Weak can deal with. So that was just a flat out mistake. I should have vanquished the 2-2 right there and then. And then he can't attack with the Corsair because I would have had the Lifelinker, and then I could have just like played the 2-3 flyer the turn after and attack with that for the rest of the game to win the game. But now Will has the board, and I'm forced to give him value off the Enraged trigger. So revealing Profane Procession there. Unfortunately, I do not have another land in my hand. So I'm still 2 lands away from activating the Procession. So I elect to put it in my graveyard. So I'm without my bomb for the rest of the match. For the rest of the game. So I've got the 3-1 Emissary First Striker here. Will can choose to trade his 5-2 for my 2-2 Lifelinker. He's definitely not going to do that. I think he just doesn't attack this turn. Unless he blows me out with Daredevil there. So that's probably game over. Yeah, I'm taking 8 this turn. I can't imagine myself coming back from this. The Bishop doesn't trade favorably with any of those creatures. Yeah, so really kicking myself for not playing that Vanquish on turn 3. It was pretty greedy. So I've got the Sky March in my hand. I got Dusk Charger. Still got the Vanquish of the Weak in my hand, which cannot kill the 5-2. I can kill the Daredevil and bash in with the Lifelinker, but then I go fall to 1 the following turn. So what's my plan? Talani's Horns doesn't give trample, I believe. So I guess my plan is just to block his team, and hopefully he just draws lands for the rest of the game. And I'm just going to take a few unfavorable trades here in the meantime. But if they're unfavorable trades, I mean, Will's obviously not going to attack if he has bad trades. So yeah, he can just sit back with his superior board position. I mean, I've got Woman Fly that I can attack with, so all hope is not lost. But my Profane Procession is in my graveyard, and my Legion Conquistadors aren't going to do anything against his 2-1 First Striker and his 3-3. So, like, unless I can draw multiple of my 2-3 fly here, I just can't see how I'm going to win this game. And even if I do draw one of these 2-3s and happen to be in a position where I can potentially race his 16 life to my 7 life, he's just going to bash in with his 5-2 and kill it. So, yeah, like, Will has to draw garbage for the rest of the game, and I have to draw all my 2-3s for the rest of the game for me to win this game. So Will's having a bit of think here. What does that mean? I'm tapped out. Like, the math should be pretty straightforward. He's at 16. He's definitely not at risk of dying from my swing back. So if I were him, I'd just like attack with everything. Alright, so bash just the 3-3. So I want to block. I'm on low enough in life that I have to trade here. And the question is, what do I trade with? I mean, if he had a trick, I think he would have attacked with everything. The fact that he didn't attack with everything indicates to me that he wants to save the 5/2 to kill a big fatty bomb that I might play. And if he's not attacking with the 5/2, then he is exposing himself. And for the same logic of wanting to keep it to kill a bomb, he's not going to block with it either if I bash with the bishop or any of the 1/1s. So that means he wants to keep back the Daredevil as well to block. But that means I could bash just the bishop and pump it with my 1/1 flyer. But then I won't be able to kill the 3/3 if I keep those two creatures alive. So I have to trade either the bishop. I have to trade the bishop here or the flyer and the two other vampires. So this is interesting. I feel like I'm so far behind that I just have to make the best block for me. So I'm so far behind that I just assume he hasn't got a trick. And I feel like he hasn't got a trick because he didn't attack with everything. So I just, don't. I give him as little options as possible to trade. And I want to keep the lifelinkers around to increase the chance of me surviving, but given that in multiple Sky Marches is my end game, I think I would have preferred to keep the 4/1 flyer in hindsight rather than one of the lifelinkers. He's got a Sky Marcher of his own. Finally used that Vanquish. This game would have been over, I reckon, if I had cast that on turn 3. I would have had the time to be able to keep that procession on top, and I probably could have tempoed him out with the Moment's Craving as well. Anyway. Still got Dust Charger in my hand. I just don't see how I can come back from this. I can play the Dust Charger as a 3/3 that can block and trade with the 5/2 it attacks. But he's probably not going to attack with the 5/2 if I just play the Dust Charger. And because I traded my 1/1 flyer away, I can't even attack into the 5/2 with my 1/1 lifelinkers. Yeah, so I'll play Dust Charger here. Provided he hasn't got anything else in his hand, I think he just chooses not to attack. He just adds more threats to the board. The 2/1's not going to attack into the 3/3, and he wants to save his 5/2 for some bigger threat. I suppose I'm not that far off at sending. Maybe he is happy trading with the 5/2 with the 3/3 and then just killing a vampire. And that opens up his Daredevil to start attacking as well. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm tapped out. Like, outside of vampires... Oh, okay, he's got them rule. Never mind. That's game over. So you can bash everything here. I'll double block the 5/2. But he's so far ahead, he can afford to just bash with the Daredevil. And once again, save the 5/2 for a fatty that I might play. Okay, there's one of the 2/3s that I needed way earlier. So the pace of the matches has slowed down a bit here as we get to the final. I guess we're both tireder and there's more on the line, so we're a bit more cautious. Will's now happy to trade now that his Daredevil can't get through naturally. Just gotta kill my 1/1 lifelinkers here as well. What am I thinking about? I'm definitely blocking. Am I considering blocking with... Oh, I guess I figure that if one of my vampires is going to die anyway, maybe it's worth gaining the life from blocking with it. So I have to choose whether to lose both my vampires and gain 2 life, or I can keep 1 vampire and gain no life. And if I'm just chumping with the vampire anyway, then yeah, I'm just dead. Yeah. Alright, we can just bash with everything, and that's lethal. I'm not scooping, so I must have a trick, but the game's over. I blocked the 2/2 fire breathing pirate, and I'm probably killing the 3/3, and then I take 2, go to 1. I guess I have Vanquish in hand, so my deck has 2 Vanquishes. Yeah, it's the Exile Vanquish. He has the pump Vampiric Zeal to kill me anyway. Alright, so I dropped my first game of the top 8. So 1 apiece, going to the final game to decide who qualifies for the regional Pro Tour qualifier for Minneapolis. I don't even know what state Minneapolis is in, but I think it's like, it's not on a coast, which makes me less excited. But a Pro Tour is a Pro Tour. Like, any chance I get to play against the best players in the world, I'm fucking ecstatic. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Sideboard wise, I guess I know he has Daredevils now, so I'm less likely to play the Bishop Summons or whatever it's called, the 3-cost sorcery that makes 2/1s, because he can flash it back with Daredevil. And given I want to play this game, and the Summons is a defensive card, it gives me even more disincentive to play it, to board it in, or keep it in. Yeah. And given the matches seem to go a bit longer, so the Harpy is like much better in a long game. Will's off to the bathroom apparently. Maybe I'll skip ahead to save some time. Alright, here we are. Some on the play, Plains, Swamp, I believe it's a multicolor card, and Will is mulliganing, which helps me out considerably. Still haven't seen that Slaughter the Strong from Will, so, and from memory, yeah, I definitely don't know he has it. It's a funny one in those PPTQs when you finish your match before you're, the other side of the bracket, and you have the option to go watch, and legally, like, you are allowed to go watch, and the players are able to ask the judge or ask yourself to not watch. So, like, the moral question is, do you even go over and watch in the first place? And, like, it gives you an unfair advantage to go watch. So, like, that's unfair. I mean, you could also argue that there's no real counter argument. Like, the only argument you can make is that it's within the rules to do so, and therefore why not gain an advantage? Like, don't hate the player, hate the game. Like, people are going to avoid tax. It's the same kind of principle, whereas, like, the rules allow you to gain an advantage, and you're a fool for not taking that advantage. But the rules are kind of behind the moral curve in a way. I understand why the rules haven't caught up, and Wizards haven't said you must stay, 10 meters from your semi-final / final potential opponents after your PPTQ quarterfinal, but it's so specific and relatively hard to enforce because every store layout's different and every judging community is different as well. So I understand why they haven't done that very specific nitpick rule. But yeah, often in these PPTQs, like, they're not that special of an event in Melbourne. We're blessed that we have so many stores. Yeah, that. What am I saying? So, and that means that players tend to leave after they're no longer live in the tournament, and they just go to the pub, have some beers, or just go home. And therefore, there's not like that crowded audience feel, and the store's quite empty. In the top 8, you can often just go over and spectate easily. You can't blend into the crowd. It's pretty clear that you're going to watch the semi-final or final to gain an advantage. And I'm not talking about the game at all, actually, am I? So for the first time, we're kind of seeing Legion's Lieutenant buff my team and get some vampire synergy happening. Yeah, I've got a great start, man. I'm so far ahead right now. It's quite interesting. I think, okay, so a pass with 4 mana. So this screams to me Divine Verdict. That's what I think when I see this position. It's a common. Will's not going to keep. I suppose he mulliganed, so he could have kept a dodgy 6. I choose the Moment's Craving, that 2/1 menace. That's not a waste of a removal spell. I've got a 2/2 that I could attack with, the Legion's Lieutenant, which that 2/1 menace would certainly block had I not have killed it. So I get an extra 2 damage if I kill it. And given my aggro position, that's definitely worth it. So now I'm in a situation where I'm playing around Divine Verdict, and my best creature is that Legion's Lieutenant. So if I attack with it, I can get in for 4. If I attack with it and he kills it, I get in for 4. If he doesn't have the Verdict, but he almost certainly does, why else wouldn't he play anything? Then I can leave the Lieutenant back, just bash my remaining vampires. He will Divine Verdict one of those, otherwise he falls too far behind. And I only deal 3 damage. But I still have a considerable board advantage. Which ultimately is why I attack with everything. I figured that even if he kills my Legion's Lieutenant, the extra damage is worth it. Yeah, alright. So it turns out he hasn't even got it. And what he does have is Slaughter the Strong. And ironically, my hand is such that I can't even play a card on turn 5. And the Lieutenant is quite bad, actually, against Slaughter the Strong. It means that I can only keep 1 creature, whereas the Lieutenant was dead, I could have kept both my Bishop and my Sky March. So I only get to choose 1 to keep. I choose to keep the Flyer. I haven't got other threats in my hand, and so the Lieutenant's not going to buff the threats that I would play. So I'd rather have the flying creature, and Will's low enough that I value the evasion much higher. Yeah, like if I had have had a threat to play on turn 5, I would have cast it. So Will got a bit unlucky there, and instead I had a land and a removal spell, I believe, in my hand. So Will's definitely behind the ball at this stage. Looks like he's got a fistful of cards though, and he could have played one of them out on turn 4. but perhaps he was hoping that... no, he must not have had... He may have had the Daredevil on turn 4. No. And he was hoping, and it could have craving one of my guys, but I guess he was hoping to get more value out of the Slaughter the Strong and then use the Daredevil to come back into the game afterwards. That Daredevil's pretty damn good, plus the dual shot. Cleared my board, but got Conquistador to refuel. Yeah, that's a perfect card for me. And I'm hellbent apart from my Conquistadors, so that's saving my ass there. Like, granted, they are dead against that 2-1 first striker, but he's on 7, I'm on 23. He can't exactly attack me with the Daredevil. So now it's the waiting game. Like, I either have to draw a 3 toughness creature to get through, but by then will probably have played enough blockers to deal with my 3 toughness creature, or I have to draw a another one of my 2/3 flyers, which I have 3 of, to get over the first striker, or I can draw my Profane Procession, and that will win me the game. Unless Will has the Demystify, but he may have bought it out, having not seen my Profane... Oh no, he saw my Profane Profession because I exported it into my graveyard the game too, so it's definitely in his deck, which is pretty interesting. I've got a Vanquish of the Weak in my hand. Alright, so that means I'm killing the Daredevil and I'm bashing with both my guys. Unless Will can pump it in response. Or Sheltering Light. Okay, to keep it alive. So that blanks my team. So it's a pretty key Sheltering Light there from Will. Yeah, the Daredevil is single-handedly holding back my whole army of vampires. Go from Will. So now it's... I think I jokingly dropped the Conquistador there, even though Will knew I had it. That's the Corsair, I believe, Will just drew. I mean, if he bashes with him with the 2/2 here, he can play the Corsair. Arguably, he should have bashed with the Daredevil, but I think I would have triple blocked. And Will knew that, so he was happy to trade the fire breathing 2/2 that could have potentially traded with a bigger creature just to get the 3/3 on board because it's so good against my army of 2/2s. Alright, Sky March number 1. I got 1 left in my deck. Will has to answer this. It's going to kill him over 4 turns. So can Will attack here? No. Well, he's got the answer. Alright. Man, this is a game. and Vona's Martyr, or whatever it's called, Martyr of Dusk, to clog up the board even more. So we've kind of hit a stalemate on the ground, and now we're just both in top deck mode, both at 0 cards in hand for the final. This is winding up to be pretty good. So I got a 5/5 now because I have the City's Blessing. If I bash in, he double blocks with the Martyr and the 3/3. And he's on 9 life, thanks to the 2 life from Pious Interdiction. So even if he double blocked my 5/5 and the Daredevil killed one of my 2/2s, I would only get him for 4, and that's not worth losing one of my Conquistadors for no value. The following turn, he would still have the Daredevil to block a 2/2, and he would have a 1/1 lifelinker even from the Martyr. So, a pretty good draw there for me. My third Sky March. All right, Will needs the removal again. He's still got a few turns before the Sky March kills him. 5 attacks. All right. So straight up, he finds Daredevil to vanquish. Man, those Daredevils are just wrecking me right now. So now all my Sky March is dead. I think my Harpy, I boarded it back in, I think. So I've got Harpy and I've got Profane Procession to break this board stall. And Will can draw... I mean, the Trapdoor by itself is not going to get there, Trapdoor Tyrant. But Trapdoor Tyrant plus like a couple of Talani's horns to kill my Dusk Charger. That would be enough to break the board. He could kill the Charger, wait a turn, bash him with the trapdoor. I feel like quad block or triple block by the time that all happens. And then he still has like 3 creatures left over to overwhelm me. Or I draw Profession and win. Or he draws the Mystify and kills my Procession. And that's it. So I guess we just play the waiting game. Massive board stall. He gains even more life, so I'm definitely not rushing him down. Alright, I got the 3/3 that can put 1/1 counter on a vampire. I definitely don't have a way to kill that Pious Interdiction that's on my 2/3 flyer. So that's not coming into play. And it's only another vampire, so I have to put it on one of my Conquistadors if I play it this turn. So I've just got yet another 3/3. Will jokes that I should put it on the pacified vampire. My library's looking pretty small right there. I can't see the depth of it. It only looks like it's about 10 cards high. So, I mean, Procession's probably going to kill him before I'd mill out though, so I draw yet another of the 4-cost 3/3s to pull 1 counter on another vampire. So I can make a 4/4 now. I mean, arguably I could have held the first 3/3 to wait for a bigger vampire. No, I haven't got another big vampire. Nothing bigger than a 2/2 other than itself. So I can make a 4/4 here, but he still just has double Daredevil that can just block to do 4-power first strike and kill my team. I mean, I can hope that he thinks I have a trick and that he doesn't double block with the first strikers, and that's great for me. But if he does double block with first strikers on a 4/4, that's catastrophic for me. So I'm mathing whether I can alpha and kind of overwhelm him. So hypothetically, I could put the 1/1 counter on the 3/3, make it a 4/4, and I have the Dusk Charger as well. He blocks his Channeler and his Martyr block the 5/5, and Double Daredevil blocks a 4/4, and Swashbuckler blocks a 2/2. So I take 3, 4. Oh, he takes 5, goes to 8, and I lose a creature for nothing. And he gets yeah, that's just not quite good enough. Yeah, I mean, or he could like block his first strikers on the 2/2s and use his just not great. Just more crappy little guys. Yeah, from memory, I remember regretting boarding out the Muslim Harpy, so I don't think it's in my deck, which only gives me Propane Procession to really get there. At this point, I'm looking like I can definitely cast and activate it immediately in the same turn. Yeah, like I said, even if he draws Trapjaw Tyrant, that's still not enough. He needs ways to ping it. But he's got 2 cards in hand. They could be lands, or they could be ways to ping the Trapjaw and break the game open. But his deck's quite large, so the probability of him drawing it is very low. So I bash with the Dust Charger here, just bluffing a trick. Yeah, and Will can just trade 2 guys. So in hindsight, that wasn't great. What am I trying to do there? I'm trying to... I guess I thought as my... It had 5 toughness, so I wasn't getting through the... Oh, I see what I was doing. I was trying to get rid of the 3 toughness creature so that my first striker could attack in. But that's flawed, because he could have blocked with the Channeler and not the Corsair and still be left with a 3 toughness creature so that my 2/1 first striker couldn't attack. But even if I do attack with the 2/1 first striker this turn, he can still just like multiple block with the non-Daredevils. And the Emissary only has 2 power, so I can only kill one of them anyway. So it's just bad. I think he's gonna... I feel like he's just gonna trade with the Daredevil here. Well, that's not gonna work out if he blocks like that. So... Alright, so I slow roll this a bit. This is an interesting situation. So, like, it looked to me like he pretty clearly blocked with those 2 creatures. That was his chosen block. And obviously I'm stacked with that. I love that outcome, right? He loses both his guys for 0, for nothing. And once he realized that, he's taken it back, and he wants to instead block differently. And then I'm put in the awkward position where I have to ask the judge whether whether that was his block or not. And the judge... I didn't explicitly say... It's hard without audio, right? You don't know what he said, but visually he definitely blocked with those 2 1 toughness creatures. I think in a Pro Tier he would have been locked into that. But at this lower level, he was able to switch up his blocks. And so now my Emissary is going to die. Yeah. So the judge told me that if I had have made the call, that he would have been allowed to change the blocks anyway. But anyway, I shouldn't have attacked in the first place, to be honest. Given that I didn't have the trick, and from his block of the Dust Charger, that's some evidence that he's not playing Antrix anyway. He just wants to keep his Daredevils alive to be able to double block my 4/4s. So, yeah, but I have way more creatures than him at this stage, despite all that shenanigans. Actually, I only have 1 more creature than him, never mind. We're still at a stall. Like, I don't know. I think I've got 1 more Vanquish. I think I have 2 Vanquish of the Week in my deck, so I can wait on that to kill one of the Daredevils and bash with the 4/4. I'm counting my deck. I've got like about 8 cards left in it, maybe 9. So the Profane Procession is not far away, but he also draws closer to his Trapdoor Tyrant and his Demystify. I have 12 lands, so and I have 1 land in hand. So the following next turn, I'm able to cast Procession and double activate, and there it is. I finally draw it, throw it down. So that's it. I can exile both the Daredevils and Alpha Attack. I mean, he's got 3 cards in hand. He's been sitting on cards for a long time, so there's every chance that he kills like 2 of my guys. And I'm left with not that great a position, but the Procession could still just like flash back his creatures. Like, unless he has Demystify here, he's just dead. Both the Devils gone, so that my Conquistadors will trade at least. mean, even if he has the Mystify in hand, he wouldn't have cast it at this stage. I've held priority. Well, I could have responded to the Demystify and still got the same effect that I have now. So let's assume, just for conversation's sake, that he has the Demystify. He can trade the 2/1 for one of the 2/2s, not block with a 1/1, and he takes 5, 8, 12 and goes to 3. Looks like he chumped with the Vampire though, and he didn't Demystify in a turn, so he hasn't got it. That's it. I get there on the second PPTQ of the season. Drew that Profane Procession, tapping out with 13 lands in play. That's pretty cool. Yeah, looks like he had the 2 Talani's Crowns in hand, just waiting for that Trapdoor Tyrant. Yeah, weird game, hey? But no, good on you, Will. You'll get there eventually. Bombs, hey? Bombs get the win. I think Will's deck was better than mine. Like a better curve, well-rounded, but I just drew my bomb more than he drew his at the critical moment. So, yeah, that was it. Thanks for watching. Good luck grinding yourself, and I might see you at the Team GP in Sydney coming up. I'm teaming with Paul Mitchell and Conan Pell. The unbannings of Modern have really thrown a spanner into the works, so we don't know what we're going to play. I've been playing Affinity for years, but I think I'm off it now. Like, it's just going to be too bad in the metagame. From here, I walk across the road and join the fellas, including Josh and the Greensboro boys for some beers, and then it's good times. Alright, well, next time I promise to have a co-commentator, and you will enjoy it more. And I'm going to finish this tequila. Alright, catches.